Welcome to the NTSC 5 and 5 series, where I, Ashwin Krishnan, host amazing CISOs on Standout in NTSC. Today's guest is Don Boian, CISO at Hound Labs. We chat about CISOs and ROI, the API universe and its impact on CISOs, reduced startup funding and its impact on cybersecurity, and two personal questions. Watch on. So, Don, in this current security environment, what do you think a CISO has to do? Does he or she have to prove ROI for the investment going into cyber?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. A CISO really needs to show that return on investment for the company or the business that they're in. I do think that the metrics around doing that ROI, I know the financial metrics, obviously, when everybody thinks of ROI, are pretty static. But what I would say is the metrics and what go into that are often dependent upon the business you're in or the industry you're in. And one of my key tenets is to really make cybersecurity and make security in general part of the business to begin with. So I'd say where you can show your value to that company and the value even as a reduction in risk on that side and talk through some of the things that might happen. I'd say it's incredibly valuable, and we as security professionals need to learn how to quantify that better to turn it back into those financial terms that everybody's comfortable with.
And moving on to the API ecosystem, right, especially in this B2B universe, I mean, what do you think software integrations with all of these different applications turn it into complicated life for a CISO, and how does he or she deal with that?
APIs and obviously using open source software does to some extent complicate things a little bit more. But honestly, we've got complications in so many other areas. This is just yet another one. First of all, is know what you have, because that's really kind of very important for folks. What is that API? What is the security around it? Where are the connectivity? What data are we transferring over that API? And likewise, for integrated open source software in any products that you may have, I'm actually one of those folks, even though I kind of came from the government, I jump on board really quick with the software bill of materials. In fact, having that for your products and knowing what OSS packages, what versions, what licensing are around that is very important. You can put some things in place and really put that as part of your software development lifecycle. Spend a little bit of time up front. It actually makes things easier.
So, in this current economic environment, again, I mean, there is definitely a decrease in the funding for startups, right? How do you think this is going to stifle innovation going forward?
What we're seeing is maybe narrowing of some of the solutions that might be coming out. And I think hopefully what we'll see out of most of that is maybe fewer, more impactful solutions and investments out of it. Because I know a lot of the CISOs out there struggle with a million widgets. So I think maybe some of that downsizing and investment in a fewer ones will get us increased quality, probably solutions that are better integrated with each other.
Someday you're going to retire. What would you like to do post-retirement?
Yeah, I'm of the generation, I'm probably not that far off. I retired from the government once. I jokingly refer to that I failed that retirement because I came back to work. I hope the next time I retire, it'll stick. I kind of personally have kind of what I call a ramp down plan. I think, over the next period of time, I will probably do some fractional CISO consulting. But then, quite frankly, I think my skills can be used in board level types of things. We're seeing lots of regulations around that. I know as part of NTSC, we're tracking that. But I think after that, I think when I truly retire and kind of stop working, I love woodworking. I'm slowly getting better at it, and a few hobbies and things like that. I intend to stay physically active and keep my brain active and do things I enjoy and be around family.
Awesome. And last question, what advice would you give to younger Don from, let's say, 15 years ago?
Wow, which is probably not that long ago, given how old I am. Really, invest the time, work on the work-life balance. And I know that's a challenge probably for most CISOs, and trying to make sure that they're, not just constantly working, because it's a tough profession where you're constantly always on. Take stock of the things in life that are important. Don't neglect hobbies, don't neglect family, and invest in your community. That's the other side that I think people give back, whether that's, a national level community like we have with NTSC, or whether it's your local information security community, whether that's ISSA, or getting involved. And I know you didn't ask me the question, but a lot of the other questions we've talked about before in the past is around workforce development and bringing in new and diverse talent into the cybersecurity field. I would say invest in that. Spend your time and effort and expertise in those types of things. I did a little bit of that. I wish I would have done more 15 years from now.